A home in Hanover, York County will be featured on a national TV show tomorrow. The homeowners say they're living in the middle of a violent haunting, and they invited Fox 43 to take a look inside. So Fox 43's Katie Kairos took the tour, and Katie, you weren't exactly prepared for what you saw.
No, I had no idea what to expect, and I know a lot of people don't believe in this stuff, but you can take a look at what happened to us inside the house and decide for yourself.
This home looks quiet from the outside, but owner Deanna Simpson says several ghosts are haunting it, and she's caught them in photos and recordings, including this one.
The majority are bad, dark forces, unhuman.
Just a couple minutes into the interview, our photojournalist, Nick, felt his wrist burning.
Are you okay? Did you get scratched?
He was behind the camera, but Simpson knew what had happened right away.
Oh my gosh.
He'd been scratched. Simpson says it's happened to her, her husband, and friends many times before.
That's unbelievable. God bless you. You know why? Because you're telling the story.
Yeah.
Because you're putting it out there. Because they don't want, that is their, I'm just telling you right now, that is their way of a warning.
She took us on a tour of the house. She shot video of this door.
If that is you, would you please shut that door? Oh my God.
It appears to close on its own.
You want to scare me so bad? Show me. Shut that door. Go ahead, shut that door. Oh my gosh, I about fell to my knees. I trembled because as soon as I said it, you never think that's going to happen.
Simpson says she often sees orbs on this stairway behind the door. It leads up to the master bedroom.
This determines whether I sleep upstairs or downstairs.
This part of the master bedroom and bathroom is an area where we've seen a lot of activity so far, and both Simpson and her cat have been pushed down these stairs before.
While we stood at the top of the stairs, Simpson recorded on her cell phone camera. She was hoping it would catch orbs, but it shows something else too. It looks like a hand.
Oh, what? Mine, did you see that?
Simpson says it looks like someone she's seen before, and it's not a ghost. It's a demon. It's been seen in the basement.
When it came on me, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't scream, I couldn't move.
Meanwhile, the family has invited mediums, researchers, and priests to visit the home. The results of one investigation will appear on the Travel Channel show, The Dead Files. Simpson says there's a history of grisly deaths in the house.
I have to prove to people our life, so that way they'd understand.
Whatever you think, we weren't in a hurry to come back anytime soon.
Well, this Dead Files episode on the home will air tomorrow on the Travel Channel, and there's going to be a lot more going on that show about the history.
Okay, that is bizarre.
It is.
This is our videographer, Nick Petrillo, who shot that, and you're serious. You actually got scratched.
I did get scratched. Basically, when we walked in the home, I didn't feel anything at first. And then as soon as we sat down and I was shooting the interview with Katie, I felt it was something like a piece of hot metal almost. Just, it was really strange. I'd never felt anything like that before. And then I looked down on my wrist and I noticed there was a scratch there. I wasn't going to say anything at first. And then Deanna asked me, are you okay? Did you get scratched? And then I admitted that I noticed that I was like, yeah, this actually happened. I've never felt anything like that in my life.
Did you believe in ghosts and demons prior to this happening?
I liked watching the shows, but
Okay.
I actually didn't really believe in it until this actually happened. I was very skeptical until this.
And so, has your opinion on it changed as well? I mean, both of you.
I mean, yes. I mean, I didn't think anything would happen in this home. I mean, we brought a Ouija board because I thought we'd have to bring it in and see if anything happened. And Deanna didn't even want us to bring it in the door. She thought it would be, it's just dangerous with what's going on in her house. And now, I mean, there were just things that we can't explain that happened there. You know, she has a lot of photos of people with scratches that had been in her house before, but I never thought that was going to happen when we went inside the home.
Wow, that is really interesting. How does she even sleep at night? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
They're trying to play a trick on us.
She's brave. She and her husband are very brave to stay, and I think that they've just tried to come to terms with it. But it's an unusual feeling inside that home, and when he got scratched, I almost thought we'd have to stop the interview and leave. We were like 5 minutes in.
Well, this is the time of year everyone loves a good ghost story, and we have one for you.
Watch as Mike Shue asks you to make up your own mind. Is what you are about to see a ghost?
A Fells Point Cornerstone Bertha's is famous for their food and drink, their bumper stickers, their altered stickers, and for this.
So do you talk to the ghost?
I do.
Every day?
Well, no, that was way back then.
Laura Norris is one of the owners. When working upstairs, she says she's felt its presence and even asked for safe passage.
And so I kind of stammered and said, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going home. Bye-bye.
In fact, there are so many ghosts here in the wind.
With their tails up and their fur all bushy.
One ghost story follows another.
You can see that it actually was a face.
But it's one thing to talk about it, and quite another to see one.
Yeah, this is it.
Melissa Rowell gives ghost tours that start at Bertha's. Recently, one of her clients sent her this photo. Okay, no biggie, but look closely at the third floor window. What's that?
I haven't seen those pictures.
Here, let me point out a few things. The vague image of a little girl, her hands stretched out through the window. That's what people are seeing, and it coincides with a ghost story from here.
And people have seen the same little girl skipping in the other room.
Do you feel anything?
No. Do you?
I'm open-minded about it.
Tony is Laura's husband, the other co-owner. Ghosts? Sure. He's heard a lot of stories in his bar.
My friend Bob saw ghosts constantly when he worked it by himself upstairs.
It's definitely coming out of the window. You can see the building behind her head.
Who's the ultimate judge? You are. Ghost? Optical illusion? One thing's for certain. That third floor area is sealed off. No one was up there the night that picture was taken. At Bertha's, I'm Mike Shue for WJZ.
A chilling photo taken at the scene of a fatal motor accident has many on social media wondering if they're seeing a ghost. Saul Vasquez claims to have taken the photo while wading through heavy traffic caused by the crash outside of Stanton, Kentucky. In a Facebook post, Vasquez wrote, "I took this picture just a few minutes ago from the cab of my truck. Zoom in and pay attention to the shadow just off the top of the state trooper hat." While Vasquez has not yet given 12 News a statement, he did tell our affiliate that the photo was not altered. The motorcycle driver was the only person involved in the crash and was taken to an area hospital where he later died, reports our Kentucky affiliate. For 12news.com, I'm Ryan Tronier.
Did a ghost move this chair back and forth? Or was it just the wind? Watch, this patio umbrella opens unaided. This door just shuts itself. And so do these saloon doors. Then an item on the table suddenly moves, and the bar stool does too. The answer might be haunting, which gives us chills to the bone. I'm Lou Sheps for InsideEdition.com.
Expect, right? The ship has been featured on several ghost stories, and they even offer a paranormal tour. Well, tonight our Dr. Brad Hoffman takes a look at the latest ghost sighting. You be the judge.
Visitors flock to the Lexington to get a look at the vintage World War II ship. And if you're lucky, well, you just may see more than you bargained for.
There's a bunch of stories that we just can't discredit.
The latest was this photo taken by a man visiting from Louisiana. You can clearly see the shadow of a man, but is it a real ghost? Officials for the Lexington agree that there could be something to these photographs. Some are unexplainable, others can be explained by a reflection in the glass. But Will Smith, the man who took the photo, says it's no reflection. It's not him, nor a shadow of a man standing by the display. There was no one else around.
There's nobody in the room. There's nothing there that can make that reflection. I'm 5'3", 280 pounds, so that's definitely not me in that reflection.
Here's one that the Lexington does not dispute. It's the most common and consistent sighting and takes place in the ship's galley. It's of a man in khakis and a t-shirt wearing a sailor's hat.
As soon as they step in, if the guy is wearing a hat, he will have hear somebody yell at him, take off that damn hat.
Another paranormal claim happened while our cameras were there. Josh Morgan from San Antonio was taking the tour. He felt something he's never felt before.
I felt very nervous all of a sudden, and I felt like someone grabbed my heart and lungs and I couldn't breathe.
So if you want some fun, go to the Lexington. And be sure to bring your camera. Dr. Brad Hoffman, Action 10 News.
Very creepy. Now,
Cornelia, do you believe in ghosts?
I kind of do.
Okay, she kind of does. If you didn't, now you're going to, because there's a picture blowing up on social media. A Florida girl named Harper was taking selfies in her car a couple of months ago. She looks back a couple months later, which is now, and sees that in one of the selfies, because you know how we take a ton of selfies at a time.
You take 2,000.
You take 2,000. And one of them, there is, let's call it for that picture, there is what looks like a little boy over her shoulder nearest the window. So now she's saying that paranormal experts are telling her that there was an accident where someone was ejected from a car, and it may have been a little boy, and this could be the spirit of the boy. Which
And he's in there?
He's in there.
No.
You gotta go, but there you go. Do what you want with that.
A mother of two says her friends told her to run after she showed them this creepy footage. Now Melissa Smith is convinced she's being haunted by the baby she lost in a miscarriage. Melissa from Toronto, Ontario, says she's always been a paranormal skeptic. But when she saw this image of what appears to be a baby's face looking at her daughter sleeping in her crib, she thought again. Melissa suffered a miscarriage in September of 2016. She claims that same night, a children's toy turned on by itself and started playing music in the middle of the night. Since then, odd things have happened around her house. Strange knocks on the door and closet doors swinging open. But this, she says, is the most conclusive proof that her home is being haunted by her unborn baby. When she saw this face appear on the baby monitor, she freaked out. Melissa says she thinks her daughter was trying to get away from the entity. And when it comes to knowing if it really was the spirit of her child she lost, she says she'll let someone else decide. I'm Kelly Nealon for InsideEdition.com.
Cameras sometimes capture things that are hard to explain.
Even our cameras have captured one unusual thing, and News on 6 anchor Megan Farley looks at these mysterious objects and the explanations experts are offering.
We have some unusual objects captured on video and wanted to investigate further to see what they are. Could there be something mysterious living in the sky? One man thinks so. You decide.
There is a phenomenon that exists among us.
Jose Escamilla says he discovered this phenomenon 20 years ago.
We swim through the air like fish.
When he saw a pattern of strange objects on some photographs.
At first I thought they were insects, birds, close to the lens of the camera.
But at such a high shutter speed, he said that wasn't possible.
We think it's a living entity of some kind. It does have behavior of being alive.
He calls them rods, measuring 1 to 6 feet long, with a cylinder body and multiple sets of wings. Skeptics, however, don't buy it.
Some people are calling flying rods.
Mark Zimmerman teaches photography at the University of Central Oklahoma. He talked about rods in class after a student captured something unusual.
People in class joke around about like UFOs or anything, but most likely it was probably like a bug or a plane or something.
I just think there's some sort of scientific answer for things like this.
So he took several photographs at different exposure times, capturing something similar to a rod, but instead a moth.
The shutter speed is going to be so long that you're going to capture that movement of light.
Escamilla viewed Eric's photograph and agrees, in this case, it's not a rod.
Each object has a certain pattern of flight. You can tell what an insect looks like. You can tell what a bird looks like, a dragonfly, and a rod is a rod.
Rods captured around the world in the underwater and in the sky in this tornado footage taken from our helicopter in 1999.
Those rods are huge, man. That one white rod that comes out of the top of the cloud, that cloud front was 10 miles away from the helicopter. That thing must have been 100 feet length.
So are rods real and exist among us? These strange living things that appear and disappear in the blink of an eye?
You can believe what you want or disbelieve, but the fact is these things are here.
Escamilla says technology has improved the documentation of rods, where he's now able to capture them using infrared filters. Megan Farley, News on 6.
Interesting.
New here at 4, it may take a miracle to save an historic Chicago church, and now some parishioners believe they're getting one.
WGN's Patrick Elwood is live on the Northwest Side with that story. Hi, Patrick.
Joe and Julie, good afternoon. There has been a steady flow of visitors, believers, coming here to this church on the northwest side, and many of them believe they are seeing a portrait of a weeping Mother Mary. The painting that hangs inside Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church is attracting believers from across the city and suburbs. It was a custodian who first brought attention to what the faithful say is Mother Mary holding an infant Jesus, and tears are flowing down her cheek. This comes as the church is facing foreclosure, possibly as soon as Thursday. Holy Trinity was able to avoid foreclosure last year after a generous anonymous donation, but issues with that donation are putting the church in jeopardy again. Just yesterday, believers celebrated the birth of Theotokos, the Mother of God in the Greek Orthodox Church.
There was what appeared to be liquid or weeping from the eyes of the Panagia, from the Virgin Mary. So Father Nicholas went in and looked at it, and basically it's only been a day since then, but there has been off and on a flow of some sort of, it looks like water. So the metropolis really doesn't have a definitive statement on anything like this, whether there's going to be testing to be done or something, but the parishioners feel that's a sign for them.
I heard about it this morning, and when there's a weeping icon, it is such a blessing to come and see it. And if you're close by, if it's not in another state, you're obligated to, so we're here.
That last Lady Nada is praying for the church to remain open, Joe and Julie, as well as the health and well-being for her family. Coming up at 5:30, we'll take a closer look at what's happening here and similar occurrences that has been happening or has happened in our area in recent days. Reporting from the northwest side, 6,000 block of West Diversey, Patrick Elwood, WGN News. Back to you in the studio.
I instantly got on my phone and sent a text to our morning EP and one of our other producers, and I was like, I think I just saw a ghost, because right after that I looked away and then I looked back again and it was no longer there.
That's Good Day Atlanta digital producer Katie Muse describing a strange experience she had here at the Fox 5 studios. That was back in August, before you got here.
Before I got here, but she's just the latest in the long list of employees here who have reported supernatural encounters right here at our station.
Good Day Atlanta's Paul Milliken decided to look into the claims and bring in some real-life ghost hunters to investigate the infamous Fox 5 ghost.
I had just turned my car off and I had put my phone in my purse, and I just, looked to my left, and I saw what looked like a man, and he had some type of weapon, like a saber, and he was just slowly walking toward me. I reached down for my phone, and then I looked back and he was gone.
Good Day Atlanta digital producer Katie Muse is describing what happened here in the Fox 5 parking lot in the early morning hours of August 11th.
I actually sent a text message to Amy, our executive producer, and Krista, one of our associate producers, and I said, I think I just saw a ghost.
What Katie didn't realize at the time was that so many before her had said the exact same words.
Once I described what I saw, everyone in the newsroom was like, oh, she saw the Fox 5 ghost.
Stories of a wandering spirit dressed in the uniform of a Civil War soldier are legendary here at Fox 5.
And it was real early in the morning. I was coming in to do Good Day Atlanta and just kind of turning the corner, and I just saw this image go by like that.
Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed somebody walk by the entrance to the door, and there was no sound, so I thought somebody was standing outside the door waiting on me. So I stepped outside to see who was there. There wasn't anybody there.
And it looked like a soldier.
But let's be honest, television stations are kind of creepy places to begin with. There are dark and dusty archives like this, and lots of loud, rattling electrical equipment like that. So even though we have our own Fox 5 I-team, we decided to bring in a different kind of investigator, one to look into the claims of a Fox 5 phantom.
Do you mean to frighten the people who see you?
Heather Dobson and Clint Brownlee are charter members of Paranormal Georgia Investigations.
Speak into my recorder, tap me on the shoulder.
With years of experience as ghost hunters.
We call the client, we interview them, find out everything we can about the history of the site, what's going on in the family dynamics and the activity they're experiencing. We get a group of investigators together and go to the client's house, and we attempt to debunk as much as we can.
Using digital recorders and motion detectors, the investigators explore the most active areas at Fox 5.
Are there any spirits here that would like to communicate with us?
They say considering the station now sits on a one-time Civil War encampment, specter sightings are totally understandable.
There was so much emotion and strife and anger and everything mixed up during the Atlanta campaign and the March to the Sea, and I think that has played a big impact, imprinting those emotions on our area here.
And that's what the paranormal investigators believe Katie may have seen. The emotion and energy of a Civil War soldier so intense, they're captured in time, like a tape recording. Oh, and speaking of recordings, watch what happens down in the Fox 5 sports bunker when Heather Dobson asks if anyone else is present.
Are you still checking in on your work, making sure it's still done properly?
Our camera battery dies. Is it just bad timing or a firm no comment from the Fox 5 ghost?
When I saw it, I definitely knew that I saw something.
It's something you don't expect.
I feel like I did see it, and after hearing some other stories, it coincided with what I saw.
At the Fox 5 studios, Paul Milliken, Good Day Atlanta.
And the team from Paranormal Georgia Investigations sent Paul some video and audio clips that they've collected during other investigations.
Yeah, if you're brave enough to take a look, he's posted it on his Facebook page at Paul Milliken, Fox 5.
Can I just say this? I've been here since 1998. I've never seen it.
You've never, well, you've been downstairs, right? I mean, that's
yeah,
where the activity is supposed to be.
That was my old office where all that that allegedly took place.
But you had to be sensitive to the spirits book.
Maybe I'm the problem. All right.
Everyone, if you're into ghost stories, this one's for you.
Some folks in Brackney, Pennsylvania are spooked after spotting what they say was a ghost inside a haunted inn. Take a look at this photo. Do you see anything there? Well, some are saying that that's a spirit in the window of the Brackney Inn. Volunteers were helping clean up rubble after a fire destroyed the building last month, and they say that things kind of seemed a bit off. Then one of them spotted the figure.
They were taking pictures of the front of the building, and when he went back and looked at his house, you know, he was kind of freaking out about the picture because it looked in one of the windows like there was someone standing there.
The more I looked at it, the harder it was to believe that it could have ever just been the angle of the sun or, you know, something at all like that.
I don't know. The inn's owner admits the photo has made him a bit more superstitious. What do you think, Katie?
I'm trying to picture, like, make out what it is they're seeing.
It looks like there's a head there. There's a man's head looking.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
So I see what looks like a figure of a man. What am I missing?
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
looking as closely as I can at the camera from my angle.
Yeah, it kind of like looks like a neck with a head on. Yeah, yeah.
But the larger question, Katie, very quickly, is do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, I had one in my house growing up.
Oh.
They're fine. They just leave you alone. You don't bother them.
Not
they
my
don't bother
mom.
you.
My mom has so many stories of this ghost.
Oh boy, all
Seriously.
right.
I mean, I could go on. I had a speech class and I even did a speech about this in college because there was a lot of content. All right. That's where
I'm really scared that if something's gonna hurt me.
First on Fox, a mother and her 3 children are fighting to move out of a home they say is haunted. The family says they've recorded evidence of paranormal activity inside their West Side townhome, and they want out. Robert Price joins us live to explain why they refuse to spend another night there. Robert.
Well, good evening, Michael. The family moved into this home last Monday, but as you can see, it's still completely empty. No boxes, no furniture. They don't want to live here anymore. Not because of rats, not because of roaches, not because of mold. They say it's because of ghosts.
Me and my son were laying right here on the floor.
It was their first night sleeping inside their new home.
1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, the blankets flew off of us.
Turns out it was their last night here, too.
Got all my kids and just left.
Kimberly Serenil and her 3 young children are convinced this house is haunted.
I think that something evil's in this house. Like, I'm really scared that if something's gonna hurt me.
Things have happened that shouldn't be happening.
Loud noises,
moving furniture.
I don't know what it was.
I was right here pouring him some tea, and the faucet went off by itself, turned on and off by itself. Today's Saturday, March the 1st, 2014 at 5:40 p.m.
To prove she isn't crazy, Sarah Nils set out to capture some of it on camera.
And I set my own video up, and I caught paranormal activity going on.
These are the notes she wrote down of the activity she claims is on that video.
Little babies crying, a little boy yelling, "Mom, help." Footsteps up and down.
Sarah Nils says she told management about what was happening, offered to show them the video, but they didn't believe her.
He told me that I'm the one that brought the evil in this house.
She just wants out of her lease, along with her $580 deposit back.
Ever since I moved into this apartment, I stayed here half a night, and it's just, I never want to come back here.
I don't want to stay in this place. I want to move somewhere else that there's no ghosts at all.
In the meantime, she's reached out to professional ghost hunters to get to the bottom of this.
I do believe in paranormal activity. I believe in ghosts. I don't know what's in here. I would like to find out more. I wouldn't want another family to go through what we went through.
So far, we haven't been able to reach anyone with management for a response to these claims. Now, as for those professional ghost hunters, they're expected to check this place out later this week. Reporting live, Robert Price, Fox News at 9.
ನೈಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಡ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಪೀಡಾಗಿ ಬರೋರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಚ್ಚರದಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಘಟನೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಸಿಂಗಾಪುರ್ನ ರೋಡ್ ಒಂದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಡುಗಿಯೊಬ್ಬಳು ದಿಢೀರ್ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ರೋಡ್ ಡಿವೈಡರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದ ಬಾಲಕಿಯ ರೂಪ ಜನರನ್ನ ಬೆಚ್ಚಿ ಬೀಳುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ.
Best story of the night right here. A Michigan couple getting the shock of their lives when they got an alert from their security camera in the driveway.
It was kind of like really unusual. I've never ever seen anything like it.
I was like, wow. I mean, that is an angel.
The photos are exactly how they were taken. I choose to believe it. I think it's an angel.
Take a good look. Many, including their pastor, said that they believe this image, captured by a security camera, shows an angel hovering over the family's truck last week. So could it be? And in the next picture, I think we have it, it sort of looks like it has moved to a different part over the truck. So joining me now is an expert, Pastor Don Piper, who has written about his own experience. He was in a terrible car accident, and he says he died and went to heaven and came back. He is the author of People I Met at the Gates of Heaven. Pastor Piper, good to see you tonight. I'm pretty sure that you believe these folks when they say that that's an angel, right?
I do. I think we're around them all the time. The Bible says in Hebrews that we should treat strangers with absolute courtesy because we never know if they are an angel. And what that says is we ought to probably treat each other better as humans, but it also says that angels are everywhere, and we may not always know who we're talking to. It could be an angel flying above our truck at any time, any place, anywhere.
So this was a motion activated security camera that they keep attached to their home to look out over their driveway in their car. So they believe that the motion of this angel that they feel they saw is what set off the motion detector, and they were able to trap it on the video, which you can do if you have one of these cameras. And it's a very stunning, beautiful image that they got. But tell me a little bit about your experience, Pastor Piper, because you were in a car crash, and you say that you were transported instantly to the gates of heaven. Tell me about that.
Exactly. One of the things that happens at the moment of death, and I was killed in a head-on collision with an 18-wheeler trailer truck, is that we are absent from this body and present with the Lord. If we're prepared to go, I wasn't planning to die that day, but I was ready. And I was transported by angels, and the Bible says in Job that
that we are transported to heaven by angels to Abraham's bosom. And that's another euphemism in the Bible for heaven itself. So we go there by virtue of angels. A lot of people who are with someone who's dying feel like there's a presence in the room, and usually there is. And I arrived at the gates of heaven and was greeted by people who helped me get to heaven, who preceded me in death. So I was surrounded by a lot of humans, but there were angels everywhere as well. And angels are not just little cherubs playing harps on clouds. These are robust, amazing creatures. Some have 6 wings, some have 4, some have 2, some have none. But I could hear their voices, and I could actually hear their wings. That's one of the things that was most stunning and most encouraging and comforting to me.
It is amazing. And you say that when you were there, I just want to put up a graphic of the numbers of people, according to Gallup, who believe in angels. And everybody wants to believe in angels, so 72% say they do, and you can see the other numbers there. You say that everyone that you saw when you went to heaven was someone that you knew.
They were. I think the people that I did not know in this life were inside. They did not come out to greet me. I think the ones I greeted at the gates of heaven were the people who helped me get there, which, of course, when I came back, that motivated me all the more to try to get people into heaven, because I know those people helped me get there. And the question ultimately is, who are you going to greet? Who are we going to greet when we go there? I think it's going to be the people we helped get there. There was an angel back here on earth when I returned. A man climbed in the car of the wreckage because he felt like God told him to. He prayed over the body, and I did return because a lot of people were praying for me who did not already know I was dead. When I came back, I met him 3 weeks later after I recovered enough to be conscious. Amazing. And I told him, thank you.
Pastor,
thank you for praying for me. And I found out that he prayed for me, but I didn't know he held my hand.
It's an amazing story. I got to leave it there, but thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Absolutely.
Good to see you tonight, sir.
Yeah, Gina, every so often people are passing by this home trying to see the Virgin Mary. There it is, but it is something you definitely can see better with the naked eye. Ave, Ave, Ave Maria. With roses, rosaries, and full of faith. Holy Mary, Mother of God. Devout Catholics gathered at this home on Richmond after they say the image of the Virgin Mary appeared under a porch light February the 12th.
The light is like the Holy Spirit shining over the picture and giving us the strength.
Betty and Eloy Contreras are the homeowners. They're renting the home now, but when their neighbor told them what she saw, the couple drove by to see for themselves.
I believe she wants us to pray, and that we need to unite and pray.
I saw it right away, and all I could, say is wow, because being a skeptic, maybe she's sending us a message, like my wife said.
They strongly believe her image appeared as a sign of hope, especially now when the Catholic Church is in a global crisis with recent allegations of sex abuse by priests.
A lot of problems are existing in our church right now. Let these victims be heard, and that this can be worked out with the church and the victims.
The folks who see and believe know there are skeptics out there.
Santa Maria, Madre de Dios.
But they ask, even if you see nothing, continue to pray.
Our country is also right now going through a lot of turmoil, and I think we need to be brought together.
Does this photo show a staircase to heaven? A beacon of light emanates from the sky and shines upon a fatal car crash.
It was a bad wreck.
Do you know if anyone's injured?
I'm sure there are. It looks pretty bad.
A 9-month-old baby, her mom, and the mom's best friend all lost their lives in the tragic accident. For the grieving families, there is no doubt what the striking photo shows.
The photo is the pathway to heaven. They went straight to heaven.
The collision happened last month. High school student Anissa Gannon was on her way to work in Gainesville, Georgia, when she came upon the scene.
The side of the car was completely smashed in.
Witnesses called 911.
Do you think the driver has passed away? There's two of them, and there's a baby in the very back.
23-year-old new mom Hannah Simmons was taking her baby girl Alana for a routine checkup at the doctor when police say she lost control of her car and crashed head-on into a truck. The passenger in the car was her best friend, Lauren Bateau. She was also killed. Anissa says she took the photo with her cell phone to prove to her boss that she had a good reason for being late. She didn't know anyone had died and says she didn't notice the beam of light until she showed it to her Aunt Tara.
It looked like that they were going to heaven. I'm really nervous.
Anissa decided she had to show the photo to the victims' families. Jody Simmons is Hannah's mom and the little girl's grandmother.
You don't know how much that photo has really made to me. It makes me feel good that I helped somebody.
Dana is Lauren's mother. Even with her heartbreak, these moms find comfort in believing that their children are in a better place.
I can't explain the feeling that came over me when I saw it, and it was just literally like watching them ascend to heaven. No doubt in my mind.
All right, here's a question for you. Have you ever had a strange feeling that things happen in your home and you thought maybe it's haunted? Well, that recently happened to News 8's Shannon Handy, and with the help of an expert, she decided to get to the bottom of it and discovered more than she expected.
I never really believed in paranormal activity until strange things started happening in my 2-year-old's room. So I reached out to some experts, and it turns out San Diego is a hotbed for ghosts.
From the Whaley House in Old Town to the Hotel del Coronado,
she still stays in her room. She still walks the beach.
A Gaslamp gambling hall once owned by Wyatt Earp.
Spirits are often spotted in this old saloon where 10 people were murdered.
Even this Victorian mansion known as Villa Montezuma in Sherman Heights.
I've seen lights on in the cupola where there's no way there can be a light on because there's no bulb in the socket and the circuit breaker is off.
News 8 has long followed stories from people claiming they've witnessed paranormal activity, some of which can't be explained.
Some people have been touched. I myself have been touched. I've had my hair pulled. I've been tapped on my shoulder, that sort of thing.
Nicole Strickland is a paranormal researcher and founder of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Anywhere in San Diego is fair game to have an experience.
It's a field she's been in for 20 years. I turned to her when I got a sense something was happening at my house.
Specifically, the light and the fan will go on. I don't know, I just have this feeling that there's some type of spirit in here.
I believe that spirit lives in my young daughter's room, where her light and ceiling fan turn on spontaneously at least once a week.
We can certainly try to find out.
Nicole brought along tools she often uses during investigations, including one that tests electromagnetic fields.
And the top line here is your EMF measurement.
Intermittent lower numbers usually point to some type of spirit.
Now it's at 1.3.
Nicole tested an outlet as well as the light and fan, but nothing struck her as being on.
I'm sensitive to EMF and I'm not getting that in here, which is a good sign.
Nicole's advice: follow up with a log keeping track of any unexplained occurrences. Also, pay attention to my daughter to see if her behavior changes. Pets can react as well to paranormal activity. If there's a pattern, that could indicate someone or something else is out there. If that's the case for not only myself, but others having similar experiences, she has this reassuring message.
It's extremely rare to have a truly authentic malevolent haunting. I really want people to not be fearful of the spirit world.
Shannon Handy, News 8.
You?
What?
Do you believe in ghosts? Do you see
Sure.
ghosts? I'm a
Sure.
little bit of a skeptic, but I didn't
don't
believe in
know.
the rain either in that game,
Yeah.
so what do I know?
You're not quite sure if you're buying into the forecast yet. So baby steps, Carlo. Baby
Exactly.
steps.
Question on Halloween. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
So do I.
Yeah.
Hollywood executive Julie Rieger didn't until she had an experience that turned her life around. She writes about it all in her new book, The Ghost Photographer. The memoir chronicles her path into the supernatural and the development of her sixth sense.
Yeah, we'd like to point out that the book is published by Simon & Schuster, which is a division of CBS, and Julie is here with us now. Thanks for joining us.
Happy Halloween.
I know, I was just going to say,
it's my holiday.
You're joining us on Halloween. And I know a lot of people, when they think of ghosts, you know, you think of something spooky that doesn't put you at ease. Right. I would think if I suddenly started seeing ghosts, it would make me a little bit nervous. Yes. Clearly not you.
No, it doesn't. No, what it brought me in my life, yes, I was scared at times, but it actually brought me peace. Because I, at that time, shifted from a skeptic to a believer. And the peace part was like, oh my God, this isn't all there is. Thank God this isn't all there is.
Yeah. Right.
That there's more out there for us to harness, right? To bring power into our own life. Or there's things we learn lessons from that are a little on the darker side.
You know, you are a high-powered Hollywood executive, right?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you're, you know,
That's
one of those people who can make or break careers, right? But talk to us about how you found yourself on this road to revelation.
Because you said you were a skeptic before.
Yeah, you were a skeptic. Because you live in the world of make-believe through the craft of filmmaking, and here you are.
I do, and my job, I'm a nerd in Hollywood. So I'm the president, chief data strategist, head of media. Nerd. And so everything has been like in the world of empirical data. So of course I was skeptical. And one thing, by the way, that I learned about myself throughout this is that we don't have to be just one thing. And I think that's really important for people to understand. You don't have to be one thing, whatever you tell yourself or other people. So what happened is I lost my mom to Alzheimer's. And she was unconditional love. She was unconditional love. And I was devastated. And shortly thereafter, I started seeing ghosts in photographs. And so I think what happened is that in grief, we experience chaos. Like we become chaotic. We'll never be who we were before. So we're constantly struggling with who we're going to be. And that's when we're able to shed whatever rigidity we may have about our own belief systems. And I happened to shed the skepticism. And that opened me up, and that's when, I mean, the door went down to the other side.
So, because it wasn't just about you being able to photograph ghosts, which I don't even know how you realized that it was a ghost. I think I would have been like, there's something wrong with this camera, right? But then something else happened with you. Because you don't just take pictures of ghosts for people, but you're able to contact ghosts. You're able to clear ghosts out of homes if they're unwelcome. I mean, this is a whole other skill that has come about.
Right. Well, it actually just opened that up, kind of like unblocked, you know, those wires. And yeah, my first experience with clairaudience was actually when I met my spirit guide or guardian angel, whatever makes you most comfortable. And I'm driving on the 405 in Los Angeles, worst freeway in the world, stay off of it. We call it that because it might take 4 or 5 hours to get there. And I audibly heard in my car a voice warning me of an accident that was going to happen.
Was it like in the movies where there's this whisper, you're not sure what you're listening to, or was it clear, like how we're talking?
It was clear like you hear my voice right now, but his voice wasn't Southern. So he didn't have a twang on his.
He's not from Oklahoma?
No, my guide is not from Oklahoma. And
I should say, before people start yelling at me on Twitter, you're from Oklahoma.
I am.
Because people said, you said Southern accent. You know how it works. People are going to be like, well, you said Oklahoma, Vlad. That's not the South. So,
it is. We fancy ourselves to be Southern. Okay. And he told me to put my other hand on the wheel. If my phone rang, don't look at it. Don't answer it, there's going to be an accident. And within 60 seconds, the 2 cars in my lane in front of me collided.
Wow.
Whoa. I was that domino that didn't fall. I was that one domino. And when we pay attention, when we're open, when we shed rigidity, we can be that one domino that doesn't fall.
We were throwing up some of the pictures that you took, and I just maybe if we can run those those pictures again, because I'm trying. So what are we looking at here? I mean, I see an image, but.
Yeah, that is, I call him Crab Man, because you see the arms kind of out to the side, you see the weird head on top, and you can see eyes and nose.
Is he riding a horse? That's what.
Maybe, I don't know, he could be, but yeah, he's like, I call him a fantastical. Like, we have a lot of energies that have never been in human bodies. That's a big mistake we make. We think all ghosts or spirits are loved ones that have passed. We have all sorts of creatures, even spirit animals, you know, that have never again been in bodies. Oh, that little guy. So I like crystals and I like skulls. That should be a song, a country song. I like crystals, I like skulls. That little guy is C32 because on his little shirt says C32.
Wow.
And C32 is actually the whale galaxy, if you go and Google it.
Really?
He drove me nuts trying to figure out what he was.
Okay, so listen, a lot of people are going to see this and they're going to go, I don't see C32, I see a bunch of smoke. Like,
Right,
it's just like
right.
it's just like when you look at clouds, you see different animals when you look in the
So the smoke actually is a canvas.
I see it.
So that is a brass dog statue.
That's what I was going to say. I see dog.
Yeah, no, that's a brass dog statue. No one's ever seen this photograph, by the way. Those other ones are in the book. These are not. That is a very scary face on the side of that brass dog.
See, I didn't see the dog. I saw the face.
You saw the face
Yeah.
because I circled
Yeah,
the
yeah.
face.
Yeah.
I think you guys have a couple more.
Hey, you know, Julie, in movies and stuff, ghosts are always scary and they're always up
Yes.
to no good. Are they?
Thank you, Hollywood.
Except for the Sixth Sense, which they were, you know, right?
And Casper.
And
But
Casper.
other than Casper.
No, they are not always scary. There's so many spirits out there that are actually trying to help us. You know, trying to either help us find peace, trying to help us navigate our way, trying to help us not get in a car accident on the 405.
Wow. I mean, yeah, we talked about that, the guardian angels, the fact that, you know, for many people, they believe their ancestors are around them, surrounding them, that they're able to converse with them. So I sometimes believe that some of the things that we build up in our mind names for things that we know and that we see, and sometimes there are just different words for them that are used in different cultures. You know?
Right.
This is really fascinating. It's called The Ghost Photographer. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is available wherever you buy books.
It does.
Old farmhouse, right?
We live in a very old farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere, which I love. And the farmhouse was, it was built back in, the early to mid 1900s by the John Henry family. And of course, the family, that was kind of their summer home. So they would go down to Arkansas then when it got cold out. So they take the family down there. And interestingly enough, the family pretty wealthy in this area.
They have a summer home.
At the summer home back in the day. And evidently, the owner now, actually my parents bought it from John Henry, who now owns the Boston Red Sox.
Your house is interesting. That's just all there is to it.
Very interesting.
John Henry also part of the Roush Fenway NASCAR team. So very interesting. So you found out some information here a couple weeks ago?
My husband did, yeah.
Okay.
He's outside, I think, raking leaves or doing something outside. And out of nowhere, this guy drives by and goes, oh, I see someone's outside. Stops, says hello, introduces himself. Ryan couldn't remember his name. And he goes, did you know a guy hung himself in your basement? And Ryan goes, what? He goes, yeah, the farmhand that used to work here years and years ago for the John Henry family hung himself in the basement down by the water heater.
Wow, and you grew up at this house?
I grew up at this house.
And you live there now?
Idea. Yes, I do live there now. Of course, I'm trying to research this. Nothing I can find anywhere recently has seen it. I called my parents. I said, Dad, do you know anything about this? He goes, oh, yeah, I do. I just never wanted to tell you girls. I'm like, thanks.
Which was a good idea.
It was a good idea, but yeah, he knew about it.
All right, well, we asked paranormal investigator Larry Wilson to come investigate Tegan's house to see if he could find anything. And we're going to find out what he found a little later in the show. Your house haunted?
Could be.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. We told you earlier in the show that we took a paranormal investigator back there.
We did.
We also told you that this is your childhood home.
I grew up here. Didn't notice anything too much when I was a kid, except for the water would just drip every once in a while.
And the
upstairs
house.
in the bathroom.
The house was built in the 30s, you said, right? 20s, 30s?
Yeah, 2030s, yeah.
In the Depression era. In the 50s, a farmhand hung himself in the basement.
Didn't find that out just a few weeks ago.
And there you go. So then we found our friend, paranormal investigator Larry Wilson. We said, hey, actually Larry said, hey, I'll come check it out for you.
Check it out for me. Please let me know.
So Tegan, myself, and Larry went ghost hunting. And here's what we found.
It seems like there's usually a heavier feeling to a house when something negative happened, like a sudden death or a suicide.
And Larry Wilson has seen that at a house he investigated in Iowa where several people were murdered. He says he was followed home by something that haunted him for months. So here we are in a house where a known suicide happened 50 years ago. Let's find out if that spirit is still around. We use some pretty typical paranormal investigative equipment, an EMF detector which picks up fluctuations in magnetic fields.
Some of the theories are that when spirits manifest, there's an increase or a higher vibrational level, which also causes an increase in magnetic fields. EMF here, we've got a spike as high as 2.0.
Larry also checked for temperature changes, looking for cold and hot spots.
I've been in houses where you'll get even up to a 60-degree fluctuation for just a short period of time, and there's no reason, for that. So that gives you kind of an idea if there might be something going on in that area.
We found a slight temperature fluctuation right here in the basement. The EMF detector also hit just slightly.
And it seemed to be in the location where, at least it's believed that possibly located where the actual suicide took place. So that kind of gives a little more weight that there could be something going on in that spot.
Is this enough to confirm a spirit? Absolutely not. But Larry also set up video and audio equipment, and we asked a series of questions.
Are there any spirits present here today?
It wasn't until a couple of days later, Larry texted and said he found something. Listen to this. Listen again. Larry thinks it's a male voice that says, Eddie says, who are? Listen again. It was deduced this voice came from Larry's audio recorder he left upstairs. He says it happened while the three of us were downstairs. In fact, you can hear us faintly talking in that recording. How likely is there a spirit in this house?
Actually, there's spirits everywhere. It's just when they want to show themselves. And when you walk into this house, you don't get a bad feeling. You don't get an eerie feeling. It feels lived in. It feels warm. And I think if there's things that happen in the house, it's just saying, hey, I'm here. Go on about your life. I'm going on about mine. I'm still here, but I'm willing to share it with you.
So, ma'am, who is Eddie?
Don't know.
Don't know. I mean,
Don't
you
know
weren't able
who
to find
Eddie
out
is.
if this was the farmhand?
I just went online and just researched. I probably need to head down to the courthouse and kind of go through the archives to see.
You may not want to.
I don't
It would freak
know.
me out, I think, if you came back in and said the dude who hanged himself was named Eddie or...
Edward? Eduardo?
Yes, but I'm not superstitious like that, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Although my husband gets a good kick out of this.
I bet. So you guys are okay with this?
We're totally okay with this.
Okay. And-
Yeah, I've grew up there my entire life, so I'm not too scared. Ryan likes to joke around about it now, though.
Yeah. Is there, have you noticed anything different
No.
since we've
No,
done this?
not at all.
See, I wondered if
Not at
him
all.
being there would kind of spur Eddie to kind of think that it's okay if he were to come out and say, hey, I'm here.
Nope, haven't noticed anything different before he came there, after he came there.
Good.
Yes, that is good.
Good roommates then.
Yeah, apparently we are, because I've gotten along with him for 30 plus years. So
He puts down the toilet seat and pays his rent on time.
you know what? That is good. And as long, you know what? Maybe I could teach him to do laundry.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
know, I
He's
can
down there,
make
might
him
as well.
useful. I know, he's in the basement. We can do laundry, and maybe he can feed the furnace every once in a while, too.
There you go.
Good. I hope he's not watching, and now he's going to get mad at you or anything.
I know.
All right, so
Good work, Eddie.
I'm glad that Eddie is not scary for you, and the Halloween forecast you put together is not scary for
It's
anyone
not
out
so
there.
scary
It's very
either.
pleasant.
Okay, get ready to lose sleep tonight. In the spirit of Halloween, we found a Lewiston native who is a paranormal investigator. Mike Fain has been in the field now for just over about 10 years.
Now, not only does he investigate to find answers, he also investigates when a family needs help.
Can you give me a sign of your presence in here?
My name is Mike.
Mike Fain is the founder of Evergreen State Paranormal Society here in Washington State. His group is an official affiliate of the Crossing Over Paranormal Society crew, founded by husband and wife professional ghost hunters Jay and Marie Yates in Arizona.
While visiting family in the LC Valley, I did get a call from a family that was dealing with a possible demonic situation.
That unidentified family was a single father with 3 young daughters who claimed they were being attacked by an unseen force on a daily basis. The Lewiston investigation took place this past June at an undisclosed location.
When we first arrived, there was nothing really crazy about the house, not like in the movies. It wasn't creepy and all that. It felt very normal.
But as the night went on, he says the feeling of the house began to change. The atmosphere got heavier.
So much to the point that one of our investigators began to feel queasy and had to leave.
As far as unexplained activity,
We did catch a lot of freaky things there, such as voices of children, and there were no children present during the investigation.
here's one of the EVPs, or electronic voice phenomenon, captured by a digital recorder, what he believes to be a child's voice saying, "Everyone hates me."
We caught knocks, like a series of knocking that was not heard at the time.
During their second investigation, Fain and his crew caught voices.
Well, we are actually hearing these with our ears, so it's no longer really an EVP, more of a voice phenomenon.
The unidentified family decided to move out of that house. Fain's interest in the paranormal began when he was a child, growing up in Lewiston.
There was a house that we lived in that had quite a bit of activity, such as lights turning off and on, things moving across the mantle, being thrown off the mantle into the living room, or being, we hear children running up and down the hallway upstairs when everybody was downstairs. The only thing that I can say to skeptics would be that you probably need to have your own experience. There's a lot of things out there online, especially with video editing and all kinds of different software out there. You have to be very wary about what's real, what's faked. And if you have your own experience, it'll probably change your mind.
Now, Mike says he and his crew, they also try to debunk what they capture or find a rational explanation before they jump to the conclusion that it is paranormal. So
I went in
he has a very level head.
Well, I went on one ghost investigation, and I walked in and I heard, "Get out." So I did. So I can't tell you anything more than that.
Did these paranormal investigators really catch a ghost in these photos?
Hi, we're the Cambridge Ghost Hunters, and today's the world's largest ghost hunting day.
It's what looks like the standard open for a ghost hunting video. But wait.
There'll be 150 teams all over the world investigating different locations, so keep watching for more footage.
Craig Jones and Matt Wood claim they had a supernatural encounter. They say they were investigating a haunted location when they asked if any spirits wanted to take a picture with them. These blurs are what appeared in the images taken at Revesby Abbey, a medieval monastery. And a personal trainer said he was attacked by an angry cave ghost, seen in this video. Tony Ferguson was checking out a cave in South Wales when this happened. Tony claims a ghostly mist came at him and passed through his body, leaving him feeling winded enough to almost pass out. He says later he saw a manifestation of the spirit lurking in the cave. He's using the video to warn the public just how dangerous ghost hunting can be. And whether you believe in them or not, it certainly is spooky. I'm Kelly Nealon for InsideEdition.com.
Historic hotel at A1A in Seabreeze in Daytona Beach has seen a lot of comings and goings, including spring break action in the 1990s.
We know kids can act ghoulish, but it's the current guests that have some employees spooked. They believe the hotel is haunted, and as West 2's Claire Metz reports, on the eve of Halloween, they invited us over to show us why.
The Plaza Resort and Spa is well over a century old. Been in and around this property in one incarnation or another. Well, now some employees think that former guests have either returned or perhaps never left.
It wasn't dust, it wasn't a flashlight, there was nobody on property causing stuff to happen to mess with other employees.
Hotel Security Chief Chris Lenkowitz and staff were watching security monitors several weeks back when they saw something odd moving through a downstairs bar. An apparition moving about, changing sizes, and when a guard came down to check, others say the ghostly presence seemed to hide.
The guy upstairs was telling them, go behind the bar, it's behind the bar, go behind. So he started to go behind the bar, and he said, no way, and he got out of here.
Though he couldn't see it, the guard felt something. And later on security video, the apparition almost takes on the shape of a person and runs away.
Cold spells, giggling, keys dangling. Yeah.
Staff says there have been strange sightings and sounds from all corners of the hotel. Hallways, ballrooms, even hotel rooms like 1111, where a guest fell to his death from a balcony several years back. But they say this specter proves there's a bump in the night and then some.
You know, I've had doors held like you're pulling on a door and the door's not locked. and walk in and there's nobody in there.
Because of the recent activity in the bar, suspicious goings-on in some of the hotel rooms, a paranormal investigator will be here early next month, and that should be a spirited adventure because she's going to stay in one of these supposedly haunted rooms. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, Claire Metz, WESH 2 News.
Brian, thank you. New tonight, a local mother says her home is haunted and she's asking for help to figure out why.
From spirits speaking to her young son to hearing random sounds throughout the home, she claims it has the makings for a real-life horror movie. So she turned to the Travel Channel's Ghost Brothers for help.
TV5's Scott Walczak spoke with her about her experience and got to get a close look at the home for himself.
Vassar's Wedding Cake House has a presence built nearly 140 years ago. Some say it's haunted.
There's been people from the community who have been in this house throughout the years and will not return to it.
But Jessica, her husband, and their 5-year-old son Xavier call it home.
And throughout their 5 years of living here at the Wedding Cake House, they've seen some unexplainable things.
It's hard to talk about this stuff because, you know, I don't want people thinking we're crazy or anything, but yeah, there's stuff here that I've seen that I don't understand.
Footsteps, voices, little things go missing and reappear in bizarre places. Jessica says her son sometimes talks to people who aren't there.
He'll go up into the stairwell and look straight up and go, "Hey guys, come down and play." And I'll ask him, "Who are you talking to?" And he says, "The kids upstairs." When he was little, he told us about the bad man that would stand in his doorway of his room. He described a woman in a blue dress with a hole in her head, and that was in his playroom.
But the Dow family wasn't scared until Jessica's accident with a bathroom mirror.
It defies all logic, the way it fell over and broke. It cut me 3 inches deep, 2 inches wide, hit the artery, tendon, muscle, everything.
They searched for help, wanting to learn more about their home's history and what might be in it. The Travel Channel's Ghost Brothers came out to investigate for their show.
They were able to pull up a few things that we had never heard of. So it was nice to know a few things.
The Dow family plans to stay here at the Wedding Cake House, and they say the Ghost Brothers really helped them out. The show is going to premiere on Friday. Until then, reporting in Vassar, Scott Walczak, WNEM TV5.
Thank you.
I have a picture taken by a guest on our ghost tour. The reflection on the window, it's there, but what's beneath the reflection, I take pictures every night when I'm out here and I can't duplicate that. It's the figure of a woman, and as history goes, there's a young lady that hung herself in the building in 1864. Here we're walking up to the public house. Constructed in 1854. I started 2013 at Public House as a manager there. I heard the stories, but as like most people, I'm a skeptic, and I'm like, all these people about ghosts are nuts, until I worked there.
This is where your first experience happened.
Yes, that would be that top door where you see the window in the door. There used to be a stairwell outside there, a little ledge, and then a stairwell down to here. That's where I became a believer, out on that ledge. I was upstairs cleaning, moving a lot of dustbin around the room. I couldn't breathe, so I stepped out here to the fire escape, basically to clear my throat. Next thing I know is the door slammed shut like you're mad at your significant other, and it locked. There was nobody in the building. Then I started thinking about these ghost stories I didn't believe, and I started thinking some more. When I first took over the building, the previous owner of the ghost tour, Diane Avena, contacted me, and we were trying to see if she could come in and let the ghost tour in to make it more romantic when they do the tour instead of standing outside the building. I was in the restroom while I was responding to her email. I was responding to her message talking about ghosts, and while I'm sitting there, the paper towel dispenser started shooting out paper towel. I was like, wait a minute, I double took at it, and I was like, okay, and then it did it again, and then I was gone. You can't create energy, and you can't make energy go away.
There's no really telling. I don't think any of us have died and come back to tell us what's going on out there. I think there are things beyond what we know, whether it's aliens, whether it's ghosts, whether it's spirits. There's people trying to contact us. There's just way too much going on out there, and there wouldn't be 3 or 4 TV shows about it if there wasn't something out there.
Captured what appear to be 2 ghostly apparitions in the grounds of Belgrave Hall Museum. No one can explain what or who they are. Our correspondent Emma Simpson went to investigate.
A wet, dark Sunday morning and security cameras capture 2 mysterious figures. They only appear for a few seconds, followed by a swirling white mist on top of the wall.
The image appears for a second, upwards of 5 seconds. It's not walked into picture, it's not flown into picture, and it's not been blown into picture. It is a complete mystery. The image looks and appears to be a ghost.
But Belgrave Hall is well accustomed to ghostly goings-on. There have been supernatural sightings here before. A Victorian lady's been seen on the stairs, footsteps have been heard, and even the smells of old-fashioned cooking have apparently wafted through the building.
We have a lot of visitors who've always said, are there 2 of you in costume today? And we all know that there's only me.
The house was originally owned by a local MP, John Ellis. Many believe that one of his daughters is the ghost of Belgrave Hall. But a haunted house didn't seem to bother these young visitors today. The older ones also needed convincing.
I don't know if I believe in ghosts, really, but it might be.
The experts are also puzzled. They're trying to figure out if this is just a trick of the light or whether Belgrave Hall really has got a ghost on camera. Emma Simpson, BBC News, Leicester.
A baffling and beautiful rescue, raising questions about the power of prayer. People are scouring nearly 70 photographs looking for some sign of a man they swear they saw at the scene of a car accident. He prayed, a life was saved. So why did he disappear, even from the photos? ABC's David Muir now on Faith and a Mystery tonight.
Tonight it's being called the Missouri Miracle. Much of it, though, still a mystery. A teenager with a beautiful smile, 19-year-old Katie Lentz, trapped in her mangled car, hit by a drunk driver, and first responders trying to get her out. Sheriff's Deputy Richard Adair won't forget when the fire chief turned to him in despair.
He was concerned because he was out of options. The tools weren't working, and it was, by that time, I said almost an hour. He said, I don't know how we're going to get her out. And I said, Raymond, I promised her mother and her that we get her out.
While inside that car, Katie had one request: to pray with the rescuers out loud. And then suddenly, right there amidst the rows of corn, at the scene blocked off for nearly a mile, a man appears.
He was dressed in a black priest shirt with a white collar.
And the rescuers notice something else. He was carrying a small bottle.
He had a small little white container of anointment oil, is what it appeared to be.
And he asked if he could anoint the girl in the car. And at first, my first thought was that it would possibly send the wrong message to Katie, that maybe we had called a priest.
But they allow him to do it.
A sense of calmness come over her then, even more so than what she had been already. I can't be for certain who said or how it was said or where it come from. We very plainly heard that we should remain calm, that our tools would now work, and that we would get her out of that vehicle.
Moments later, it happened. A neighboring fire department arrives with a new set of stronger tools, finally able to cut through that frame. They all turned to thank the priest, but he was gone. In fact, in all of those photos at the scene, no sign of the priest. And tonight, family and friends are grateful.
Whether it was just a priest as an angel, serving as an angel, or an actual angel that came in, he was an angel to all those and to Katie.
The fire department's Facebook page tonight filling up fast. Do any of the responders know who the priest was that seemingly appeared out of nowhere? I would love to shake his hand. And tonight, from Katie's mother, a message too. very pleased that Katie's near-tragic accident provides proof to all that miracles still happen. Her mother adding, please continue to pray for her, and in Katie's words, pray out loud.
Pray out loud. And today we reached out to 15 churches within 30 miles of that accident scene. No one could tell us who the man was. And as for Katie, 6.5 hours of surgery, many broken bones, but her mother says her face and that beautiful smile untouched. But Diane, everyone at that rescue scene touched by that stranger.
And dozens of people saw him, and yet nothing in the photographs.
Nothing, just the story of that white bottle.
What an amazing story. Thank you, David.